Are you tired of the same old weekend routine, looking for something new and exciting?
Then get ready to rev your engines at Throttle and Swing, the ultimate entertainment destination at NOLA Motorsports Park.
That's right, we're talking an 80 configuration go-kart track that'll have you feeling like a pro racer.
But that's not all. We've also got a brand new 18-hole mini golf course and a state-of-the-art arcade.
Delicious craft pizza kitchen and a full bar. Think unique cocktails, gourmet coffee, and the perfect place to refuel after all the fun.
Plus, relax in our outdoor lawn area with the playground, live music stage, a huge television for watch parties, and free Wi-Fi too. It's perfect for work or play.
And if you're planning a party, Throttle and Swing can handle it. Any size gathering, we've got you covered.
So, what are you waiting for? Head over to NOLA Motorsports Park on the West Bank and experience the unparalleled excitement of Throttle and Swing.
Throttle and Swing at NOLA Motorsports Park. Get your adrenaline pumping. Chocolate lovers rejoice. Scandalous Chocolates has arrived in New York with 4 sensational new varieties.
That's right. They aren't just chocolates. They're an experience. Premium edibles crafted with the finest ingredients, blending sweet and savory sophistication.
We're talking 20 milligrams premium chocolate lips, sleekly packaged, perfect for on-the-go indulgence. Nuts, fruits, caramel, it's an affair you can take anywhere.
At just $10, it's an affordable luxury. Fair trade, single origin, gluten-free, and vegan. Find Scandalous Chocolates at quality dispensaries like Travel Agency in Gotham.
Scandalous Chocolates. When you're in New York, awaken your senses and delight your palate.
The affair you could take anywhere. Scandalous. Are you looking for a unique New Orleans experience?
Check out New Orleans artist Frenchie at FrenchieLive.com.
Featuring original artworks, prints, and more. See it all at www.frenchielive.com.
Live event bookings are available. The gallery is open by appointment only.
And for private showings or parties, email info@frenchielive.com.
Experience the art. Experience the artist. Frenchie Gallery. www.frenchielive.com.
Hey, Jay, you hungry? Like really hungry?
Yeah, I'm in the mood for oysters. Hey, let's check out Trenas.
Oysters? I love oysters.
Trenas features a wide variety of local oysters. Char, grilled, baked, and on the half shell, even the famous oyster log.
Oyster log? I heard about that. You get 6 each of their signature baked oysters, plus 6 fried, all on a cypress slab?
42 oysters. We are going to love it. Trenas is located in the Hotel Intercontinental, 444 St. Charles Avenue, right on the parade route.
Sweet. When can we go?
7 days a week for lunch and dinner, plus a mimosa brunch on weekends, and happy hour daily from 3 to 6.
Happy hour? Nah, you're talking my language.
Great drinks, great wine list. An award-winning chef, Matthew Farmer, leads a team serving the best seafood in New Orleans. Trenas.
Trenas. Got it. Let's go.
Gonna meet dancing. The groove feels so good to me. Singing, wow, yes indeed, y'all. Soulful living is all we know how to do. In the greatest place on earth, I'm talking about New Orleans, the greatest place I know. My hometown, the greatest place on earth. Yeah, yes indeed, y'all.
Who dat? Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages. Welcome back to Only Good Vibes News Network, your main source for positive news in New Orleans, Louisiana, and beyond. Also, for some people like our friend and longtime listener, Shecky, who's in France, who's listening live. What's up, Shecky? And what we want to do today is we always get those vibes rolling with the Palo Santos and the Sage. We already got it going. And we've already pulled the cards with our illustrious guests here. And the first card is The Way. And it's just these Zen cards by David Levine. And we pulled these that burn Palo Santos and Sage. That's the lovely smell that you guys smell right now. And I'll read the back. It says, meditate, live simple, work hard with integrity, become compassion. This is the way. And the name of this card particularly is The Way. So again, meditate, live simple, work with integrity, become compassion. This is the way. And this is just words and thoughts to just, you can use all day. You can use them all the time, right? And it doesn't matter like whether your day's going wrong. You're like, maybe I should meditate a little bit more. Maybe I should, just a little nudge in the right direction, because you need to nudge yourself every single day when you're and positively, that is. And this one here is a fun one. The Journey. And it says Journey on the front, and it has a little thing on the back. You can twist that right there, Greg, and adjust it if you want to get it up higher there. And it says, understand that the journey is as important as the destination. Enjoy every moment and live life fully. This is Zen. Yep. You turn it back towards you, Laney. There you get bingo. All right. You guys are probably the tallest guests that we had here in this fan cave. And so those are the two cards that we picked out. And without further ado, let's introduce our amazing guest today. And I'm excited with these guys because today we have two incredible New Orleans heroes that happen to be very special guest returns from season 1 of OGVNN. Now, season 1, we were at WGSO radio station. It was just freshly off of an idea in my subconscious that I've been paying for domain rights for over 20 years and nothing actually happened. And then finally one day, I saw that video with the guy holding a $100 bill in the class, and he was saying, anybody wants this $100 bill? All the kids start going crazy, and one girl walks up and takes the 100. He said, she gets it. And they said, why did she get it? And it said, she took an action. Man, that dropped on me like a ton of bricks. So I called up Jamie. I was like, man, you're going to beat a map. Tell me what I need. I need sponsors. I need guests. I need, I found a place actually, and bless them, WGSO. That's where we got our teeth. Greg, you were the first guest on Only Good Vibes News Network.
Awesome.
And Laney, you were the first person, as they say in my old neighborhood, that put his money where his mouth was. You supported this beautiful thing. And I think it's so amazing that this is the 58th show since I brought that thing in. Wow. You were the first one. And this is the 58th one. And we did, each season is 22 shows. We did 2 seasons over at WGSO. Thank you for those guys over there for all their help and bringing this to fruition. But now we're in the fan cave. What do you guys think? Yeah. We kind of came up a little bit, huh? We got TVs, we got a sofa, refrigerators. We we steadily grinding, putting out the words of positive, good vibes, and we really had a lot of good things that we've done in those 58 shows. And one of the guys that we turned, he was doing, we don't talk religion, politics, or negativity, but this guy who was at the show over at WGSO, he was actually telling me that he did religion and politics jambalaya was the name of his show. So we were kind of the opposite.
Yeah.
But at the end, mind-boggling, he called us up and said, look, on the air, he said, I changed everything listening to you guys. You guys completely turned me around. He goes, now I do what y'all do. I talk about positive things. And I talk about positive music, and I don't talk about religion and politics anymore. And I would tell you, I would have probably bet every dollar I had that guy would have never switched. But our message, those 22 shows, those messages touched him in a way that really ended up touching me even more so, because I was like, here's this guy. Now he's just like changed his tone, which is great.
He's probably a happier guy with less stress in his life.
That's what I think, man. So guys, how do you guys feel? I mean, like, anything that you want to say about the fan cave?
Look, we hear it at the Whistle Shrine, and if you had a little shower, it'd be a very expensive Airbnb. That's all you need.
We're thinking about putting maybe not a behind the whistle picture, but we're gonna put maybe a door because there's a shed back there, a garage, little you can plop a hole in there. And I was telling my wife, the plumbing is right on this side. We can just run it down the side and have a shower and a sink, and then we're in.
Shower and a toilet. You about $500 a night. People would pay to get. So I don't know if your neighbors would approve, but
Yeah, I mean, this is a bedroom community. It feels like.
Yeah,
it really, and it's a historic neighborhood.
No, it's it
really is, and it's fun, man. And I have a really good time over here all the time talking to folks about positive things. And Greg, I want to talk to you guys today about just the two things you do. Like Laney is with NOLA Motorsports Park, which is, when they told me that those carts went 40, 50 miles an hour, I didn't really look. Greg's laughing. He knows where I'm going with this. They really do go that fast, dude.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was impressive. And besides the swing and throttle, and look, I have my own video. I don't know if you've seen it yet. I don't know if I sent it to you, but we and Jamie, I got a couple of us to go over there for the zombie apocalypse. Dude, that is brilliant.
Yeah.
It really is. But we shooting these guys with all this stuff. And look, one of the guys came up to the bus, right? And I was like, and he grabbed the gun. And it freaked me out, dude. But I was like a 16-year-old girl. I was like, ah, ah, ah. I was like trying to burn the video. I was like, I want everybody to see it.
No,
but
look.
the endorphins and the dopamine and the serotonin was like, I was high, man. It was like, But it's a fun place. We always talk about it. And you've seen the credits rolling up. You've seen the video. Like, we moved up in advertising too. We came from just like talk ups to like a full video now, and we got a new video talking about the Mardi Gras and everything that we're doing there and the packages now, because we got a lot of good stuff going on over there.
Yeah.
And Greg, you, my friend, heroes, both of you guys have worked together with bringing and helping this community come to the place where it needs to be. And the last time I was over at not the last time, but one of the bigger times that I was there, I went for a friend of mine's birthday with the Apocalypse Zombie. But that was probably the last time. But before that was with Heroes. And Heroes is coming up again. And I know I got second place last time, but I want to look at the cameras because I think that they might have gave me an early flag. It was a premature flag, like in the NFL, I was like, I could have sworn I won that race. But we're not going to get into that. Why is Greg laughing at me? Makes me feel like I'm a sore loser.
I remember when you spent out.
Yeah.
I got hit. I can see it in clear in my when you try to hit the car and you spent out, man.
Because I was cheering. I was like, I won. It was like, boom. And then they're like, keep going, keep going. I was like, and I still came back and got second place. And look, my trophy's right there. That's my trophy right there. And luckily for me, they were out of first place trophy. So Greg is getting a big kick out of this lady. I was the only person not having a big kick out of me coming in second place. I know Soul Saint was excited. He still weighs that on him. So
that's coming up soon. Yeah.
So Greg and Laney, welcome back to the Only Good Vibes News Network. I can't even begin to tell you how much and how stoked I am to have you guys back here and invite y'all here to be in this place after what, so much. It's almost a year now. It's just it's a blessing. We do 5-month intervals of these 22 shows, and you guys are a big part of it. And like when I was thinking about this last night, I was thinking about us having lunch the first time. We went over and we went over to have some barbecue and
yeah.
you know, it's like it feels like it was years ago, and a lot of, you know, bonding and growing, and just seeing you guys grow and see your events and see your things that you've done just grow so much. But I want to like leave this open, and it's real easy, you know, and laid back. But I always want to pretend like I don't know anything, and as a first time person listening, you know, and what people may think, and like, what is NOLA Motorsports Park? What is Heroes? So I'll give both of you guys a chance to kind of give a little synopsis on, you know, what it is. And since I'm out talking, I went to Laney first. I'll go to you on Heroes, because I know what Heroes is, but I know what it is to me, and it's such a overly needed thing. And if there was like 10 Gregs and Laneys, this place would be a lot better. And I'm not saying that there's not people doing great things, but I'm just talking about like on a level of where you are with it, from the mentorship, from the just being open to. And I was reading some things that even help elderly people. I mean, you do so many things. So if you can just dip into, and I know we'll stumble back on some of it, but then there's a little synopsis of what Heroes is and how it got started.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. And first of all, I want to say thank you so much for having us on the show, man, and sharing your platform with us. This is always, you know, great for us to get the opportunity to come out and talk about, you know, what we're doing, who we're working with to help us do it. So again, thank you so much for that. Also, man, congratulations, man, on, you know, completing so many seasons, man. Super proud of you. Again, you know, from the first show to now, man, you know, that's not an easy thing to do, man. But again, you stuck in there, man, and, you know, it's only grown and got better. So thank you for that. So, you know, for those that are listening, my name is Greg Ravy. I'm the founder and CEO of Heroes of New Orleans. We work with youth and families in Algiers and throughout the greater New Orleans area who are at risk of currently living in poverty or at risk of living in poverty. We do that through a very different ways, workforce development programs. We do community engagement events, as well as work with seniors, and pretty much just serve our community in its entirety. We super excited for some big events coming up that we'll talk about pretty much later in the show. But again, you know, it's a little lot about what we do, and I'll turn it over to my good friend here.
That's awesome, man.
Gosh, I don't, you know, we're traveling somewhere, and you know, someone will say, "Well, what do you do?" You know, and I look at Ruth with a sense of panic. It's like I don't know what to say. You know.
Well, I mean, I can help you. I mean, I think that NOLA Motorsports Park is a really a place that I think every person should check out. Why? Is because, for one, you got a lot of a way to get rid of anxieties of everyday life, right? Yeah. And it's a fun place. It's just I don't want to say amusement park, but it could be like an amusement park, you know, with like 3D amusement park. Like
it's the same concept. It's a really cool place. You know, it started, I mean, at the core are some racing surfaces, and you know, our big track is an FIA grade 2 track. Is not a whole lot of them in the country, and that means it's a very safe place to drive a car around. We can have any kind of race except Formula One, you know, so you know, that's what an FIA grade 2 track is. Our kart track's the biggest in the country. Also very safe. You know, it's 30 feet wide. A lot of others are smaller and stuff like that. So it's really a fun place to do some driving. Maybe in the future, if all the cars are self-driving, you'll have to come to a private road to drive.
How would you guys handle that? I mean, that's an interesting question. I never even thought about that. Like, did you think about, because I know you're always cutting edge and you're thinking about the next thing. And, you know, I heard that there was some driving. They were like helping kids learn how to drive. Like, and like, there's so many things that you do over there. I actually got into one of the cars once where this thing, it's called, like, right now, the Extreme Ride Along.
Oh, drifting? You were drifting?
Well,
yes, that's fun.
I have not been in a car going that fast. That was the first time. And one of the things that I learned immediately and was I don't like to go that fast if I'm not driving. Like, it's really fast. I mean, 100 miles an hour. What's the fastest cars can go on the track? I mean, not fastest, but like some recorded records of how fast.
Oh gosh, we've had some cars going over 200.
What?
You know, going like there's some dragsters, some special drag events, but as far as road racing cars, let's see, I had one that I've driven 185 in. It just wasn't geared to go faster. It's going down the long straightaway, which is a mile long.
Wow.
But
What's going on through your mind when you're driving 185 miles an hour?
Your mind's not distracted. It's a pencil like focus on what's in front of you, and you're all tuned up and just right, and it's like pay attention. So it's a forced meditation of a type. You really can't. If you're playing golf, you can be distracted and thinking about all the problems of life, but driving around a racetrack, no.
And are you like you got the harness? You're locked in like that?
In that car, yeah. That was a car with a full cage, roll cage, and fire suppression, all that stuff. That, nothing close to a street car.
Wow.
And so, if once you start going, if you get to, 130, 140, you're at the takeoff speed of an airliner, so
you're about to fly, Greg.
You have to be careful and make sure your car can go that fast. And you really can't go that fast on a public highway. Even a race car with downforce, if you try to do it on I-10 somewhere and the car starts rickety-racky bouncing, air gets under the car, it's going to fly.
Almost like the boat thing, right? If it gets too high, just the air gets up under it.
Yeah, and the other thing is that people don't realize, and I've driven on the Autobahn in Germany where I'm going 140, 150 for a long period of time. Okay, you get desensitized, and you think you're going like 50. Okay, and that's a very dangerous situation to be in. So if you're out on the highway driving fast, because I remember one time, doing some work. I was Chouest offshore work in Germany, visiting a gearbox company, and so rent a BMW, and I'm driving along like 150. I get passed by Porsches going 160, 170.
Like
I'm in the 150 in the right lane, and the cars are passing by.
Slow down.
And there's speed, there's unlimited speed limits, but there's a lot of places with speed limits in the Autobahn. And
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. When you go through cities and stuff. So I'd slow down. I'm going like 90. I thought I was like stopped. I could get out and walk. Or run this speed. I mean, so you have to be just a little warning out there for people who want to drive fast. It's a very dangerous situation because the last thing you want to be is relaxed and chilled while you go on 100.
This is true
because you're in a dangerous situation. Anyway, so we have our drifting experiences there, and people can ride along with a drifter on the skid pad. That's gotten to be a very well-run event by some local drifting enthusiasts.
I think the way they put it is it's a perfect Valentine's gift that you can give with the best gift to give that you can brag about.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, hey,
and take some pictures. Bragging's okay. And then our mini golf course, Greg and I have had some big laughs there.
Any hole in ones?
And I don't know. I don't know if we really
hole in
did.
two? No.
Yeah. We've had that.
Birdie.
We've had that.
We got birdies a little galore.
But if you want to laugh, go do that and just
don't
start taking it seriously. And then we have a big Jeep event coming up. We invented zombie paintball, and we have a couple of imitators in the region. So that tells us something.
Flattery is the biggest form of.
And zombie paintball's grown tremendously, and it's gotten to be a bigger event. So we're working on what
it was a long line.
Yeah. No, we are aware of that and looking at capacity, and we're going to do something more.
Haley was telling me some crazy numbers, like how late they said, because you guys, like, if you're in line, it's almost like when you're voting or something, apparently. Like, if you're in line when they're cutting down, they're going to let everybody in until everybody's not in line at that. And that just shows you how, and some of the numbers that you guys are getting from the hits and people looking at it online, it
Yeah.
just blew up like a California gold rush.
Well, paintball's fun. The not fun part of paintball is when you get shot. So here you can just shoot at people, and it's where you can do paintball and not get shot at. You just
That's
shoot
awesome.
at people. So and then and there's a big Jeep event that is going to happen this year, and of course we have Heroes back with their event coming up.
On the 21st, right, Greg?
Yep, 21st, race for a cause.
Can I get some test laps in?
Yeah. We definitely encourage that, man.
So, so tell folks about the upcoming event, Greg.
Okay,
that we have.
Awesome. So March 21st, we'll be hosting Race for a Cause, man. We'll be there all day from 10 until 7:30 that night. We have our specialty races, CEO races, different CEOs from around the city. We have our first responder race, different first responders from around the city, from police officers, doctors, all that good stuff. We have our restaurant racer for the restaurant. So Lil Dizzy's already jumped on board, and so we're super excited about that. Chicken Kitchen jumped on board.
Whoa, can we talk about Chicken Kitchen for a second? I heard nothing but good things about that place, and I want to get, if the owner's listening, I'd like him to come and sit in this seat, and we could talk about some positive things that he's doing around there, because I heard nothing but good things over there, about the Chicken's Kitchen. But I didn't want to interrupt, but I wanted to circle that and put that little plug out there for him.
Yeah. So, man, we're super excited. We have the Women of Influence race that's coming up. Again, partner with NOLA Motorsports. We have mini golf we're going to be doing this year. We have the game room that's going to be available this year. So music, it's free, fun, family event, vendors, man. So we super excited, man, and pretty pumped up to
So can you... I mean, I know a lot of times you're keeping it on like real tight on the celebrities that are going to be there. But I know last year was Juvie was there and the guys. And I don't know if they're going to be coming back. But what I was asked by a lot of people was, do you get to race against some of the celebrities, or the celebrities are going to race against just the celebrities themselves? Some people seem like they want a piece of some celebrity. Some people said, "Hey, can they race against Laney?" They've heard he's a really good driver, and I mean, you have access as much as you want to practice. I told them that you guys, like I saw Greg one time on the internet, like right before the thing, and he had a whole racing suit on. I was like, "Wait a minute,
Yeah.
Can I get a racing suit? Get some practice laps in, lady. I'm gonna have to talk to lady and see if we get a situation. But I'm working on getting a sponsor. I'm gonna get a sponsor. That's how much. Can you explain levels of sponsor? Because I think it's $2,000 for a team, or is it more than that?
Yeah, so we have a $2,000 level sponsorship. That's they put 13 drivers in the race. 13 drivers that you race against, and so. So a corporate race, you put 13 drivers in, that's $2,000. You get to have bragging rights amongst the companies and all that good stuff. We also have our specialty race where you use $100 per racer. And you can drive.
Specialty race, that's what I was thinking about.
Yes. And you can drive in those races. So those races are like our entrepreneur race, a local business race. And in those races, you get a flyer created, represent your business. We post it on our page. You post it on your page. And then also you get the opportunity to race at the event and let everybody know, what you're racing for.
So is there a website that they can go to if somebody wants to go and just do some, you want to plug that?
Yeah, absolutely. You can go find us at www.heroesofnola.org. You can find us at Heroes of NOLA on Instagram, as well as Facebook, and any one of those platforms you can apply to be a part of the race. Or you can email us at heroesofnola.org.
So I got to tell you, man, is there going to be a super fan race again?
Man, we really pushing for a super fan race, man.
Yeah.
We really pushing for a super fan race, man.
What about the motorcycle guys? They're going to have those bikes out there again?
Yep.
That was cool.
Yeah, so we're still going to have the car show. That's going to include cars, slingshots, bikes, and all that great stuff. So we're super excited about that. They're actually super excited about that as well. So I talked to the guy, Uncle Sad from Insane Hunters, and so those guys definitely going to be back out there again.
And man, the guy who builds all of them, I think, what's his name? His name is
Cedric.
Cedric, yeah, he is. Man, he builds all those bikes. Huh? He's a special guy. Him, man.
Yeah, man.
He
He's
really is.
super talented, man.
I think Laney just hit the lottery. Yeah, you're at the casino. Ding, 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 ding.
Apparently, yeah.
But so Laney, I got a question for you, man. So, what was your vision when you first, came up? Did you, like thinking about the vision for NOLA Motorsports Park? Like, did you think there would obviously be like great events like the Heroes and just other places because it's so big and it welcomes so many people. Now, the first thing you think of is, work parties and, just like family reunions, like just everything. Was that kind of your thinking to just bring the community together on all sorts of different things just to have a good time?
Yeah, no, that was the thinking. Again, there's not a lot of FIA Grade 2 tracks. So to have, and we have a pretty full calendar, like we're at Porsche Club, we have a lot of teaching or training series where small open wheel cars come as instructional races, a lot of club races. So, the big track's busy with when its season is there. And then it's basically if you have a big company event or something and you want to rent a park, it's like a park, but it's private. So it's like hard to go rent a city park for something.
Yes.
But here you can come rent a park for something. In
I
terms
love
of
that idea.
having space and parking cars and having room. So, and we've done all kinds of events, all kinds of. We had rock crushing equipment there when there was a convention of rock crushing stuff, and the Demo Diva was there, and she took delivery of one of her new wrecking machines. Where the manufacturer was there, and we had a chat with her.
She's the diva, the one with the pink, the pink stuff, right?
Yeah, my favorite color.
Yeah, it is. I mean, mine too. Orange. I mean, it's a skin tone thing. Greg may understand this. Like, whenever you wear the opposite color of your skin tone, it pops. I don't know if you guys knew this, but I was the first African American model for All American Jeans, the Rubenstein brothers in New Orleans.
Wow.
I had billboards, like giant ones, like
Nice.
back in the day. I had dreadlocks. I looked a lot different. But I learned a lot of stuff about like how the picture's supposed to like go straight to it, and then it's supposed to guide your eyes around to circle right back into it, and color patterns and all those different things I learned during that situation. So for a question I have for you also was this, Laney. I think it started did you start this, did it open in 2013?
I think it was like 11.
Okay. Because I read anyhow that there was like the first time it opened was like 95,000 visitors the first year it opened. I mean,
yeah. We had a bunch of stuff that first year. We had some pent up demand. We had a couple of national auto dealer meetings. We've had some really cool events. We had an IndyCar race.
that's what I was going to say. Conventions and stuff like that must just eat that up, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good spot because they like New Orleans. It's the draw. So if there's a connection, and one of the coolest things we had was Ducati released a new motorcycle a few years back called the Panigale, and so they had an event for all of their North American dealers, and that's real North American. So they had people from Mexico, Canada, the United States. And what impressed me was that Ducati dealers, pretty much all on road motorcycles, and they got out there and drove them really hard. And the Ducati, they had a racing bike with one of their racing guru, and this guy was amazing going around the track. And the other cool thing, we had a big Toyota event, and so we had a bunch of people from Japan, including Akio Toyoda himself.
What?
Wow.
And his son, Daniel's son, and they were there.
Come on.
And Akio was there, and Akio was a really cool dude,
I can imagine, dude.
And so I have pictures with Akio, and let's
That's
see.
awesome.
My other good pictures, I have pictures of a bunch of Indy drivers. Talked to all those guys when they were there. one of my cool pictures, it was during the AMA motorcycle race. And anytime you have a big event, the celebrities in town just show up. Okay, they don't need to; they just show up. So then Jason Statham showed up. Apparently, he was making a movie, and so he shows up. And so one of the local deputies that was like security for him, he came to me. He said, "Look, Dr. Chouest," he said, "Look, I know y'all talking to Jason here and there, but his girlfriend's over here and nobody's talking to him, you know." And I look over and I said, "Oh, it's Rosie. It's the big tall British girl that was in the Transformer." I said, "Oh, I'll go talk to her."
We'll make sure that she's okay.
Yeah. So Ruth and I have some pictures with Statham and Rosie.
That's awesome. It's like you never know who's doing that.
Oh yeah.
So you guys have joined forces too. I've been over there, and Laney, you teaching the kids, and you brought gifts. Laney did not come empty-handed.
Never.
Well, no,
You know.
I'm a volunteer. I'm a volunteer on the staff at Heroes of New Orleans, and
Can we talk about how do you become a volunteer? I might want to be a volunteer if I get to
you
make
just-
stuff. Like, I mean, you can teach me, but
just talk to Greg. You know, one of the things that you mentioned you wish there were 10 like Greg and I. The truth is there are 10 like Greg and I. They just
quiet.
they
don't really.
well no they just we just need to talk to them a little bit, okay? Because one of the things that is going to make a difference, and just to look at where we are with our youth, you know, we still not quite doing right for our youth, okay? And there are two parts, two components, okay? We talk about keeping people out of the criminal justice system, but you know, we have these most incredible things, a human brain that we know about anywhere, and so they all born the same. It's just a matter of what do we do to them, okay? And so the city is missing out on the offensive side, where with the right guidance, training, addressing the things that create the stress, that rewire the brains, that cause the behavior. All this is known. It's all so well known. So why don't we do better? And I think it's complicated, and people sometimes think it's too hard before they start, and it's not that hard. Okay, it's straightforward and simple, but you have to execute. Okay, you have to put air in your ball and dribble it. Okay, it's the basic stuff, and so I think engagement is the key. Because we have to. Until we measure outcomes and make our processes better to get better outcomes, we're not going to really get ahead of this. It's going to take a system-wide change to get ahead of it instead of just forever staying behind it or just not quite catching up. So engagement is when you go inside the program, you know, it's when you have something to offer, and because Greg will take whatever you have. If you have unused cocktail napkins, he'll take them, you know, and he doesn't say, "Well, just give us money." And a lot of people, a lot of organizations, unfortunately, they'll say, "Well, just give us some money, we'll handle it." But when you look at people that have expertise in other aspects of how to run things, and just their presence, because you know, our city needs to be a team New Orleans. Needs for the purpose of fulfilling our potential as a city, we need to be on one page. And our little local tribal, you know, allegiances or you know, where we're afraid we stay in this group because we're afraid to mingle with that. We need to throw all that away if you're a citizen of New Orleans. You know, we just got to, I mean, we talk about it. We all get along really well culturally, but we need to get along in other areas, and we need to really understand our gumbo. And I think without getting to specifics, just engagement. So I would encourage everyone to, you know, if they find something they want to do, work with a local nonprofit, because the after school and mentoring space where Heroes is, that's the time. Okay, that's when trouble happens. That's when bad things happen. So again, Harry, I'm talking about Greg's program, but
but I was
program. It's all our program.
Yeah, I was.
It's all of us. So, I spoke to our new mayor, Elaine. I'm very optimistic. I spoke to her a couple of times, and I did tell her my fantasy mayor would challenge all our universities that have neuroscience departments to work with nonprofits in this space, in the after school and mentoring space.
Dude, that is.
And I would, because we've done some work at Heroes with UNO Neuroscience Department, have a year of data. We're starting to look at it. But the first thing that we realize is that we need more data. So we're working on a way to just capture more data points. And of course, the people in the program are, Greg can talk about his standpoint. People, we don't have to collect. It's all voluntary on the family's part. And but there's a couple of things Greg told me in the beginning which were profound that shaped the way I see it. He said, if we don't see the world through the kids' eyes, we're not going to get it straight. And he said, if we don't enroll and treat the family, we're not going to get it straight. So that's two.
Yeah, I think people do always focus on the kids, but I think the last time we were talking too, it's really important that you help the parents, right?
Well, the third, yes, and so there's three big points. The third is that you don't put the kids through the program. The program is the kid, and so what I've observed, Heroes and Greg show, because it's all his vision. There's like a toolkit. You might have. Like Batman, you might have 12 tools in your tool belt. And in different situations, you need to apply different tools and pull in different resources. So there's no fixed program that you can do. So there's some things that the nonprofits can do that the government can never do. It just never, ever do. No matter how good the government is, people are never going to trust them as they do a nonprofit. So, but the other thing, is we need to make sure our resources go to the nonprofits actually delivering outcomes and not spread them politically. That's all.
I think that a lot of the things that you're saying, a lot of people want to get involved with. So, Greg, how can people, say if somebody wants to just say, you know what, I'm inspired. I really believe a lot of what Laney and what Greg is saying works. How do we start our own if we're in Chalmette? Or if we're in Lafayette, or if we're in, their own heroes. Are you guys, do you think that, because I think this is the key. I really do. And especially the biggest part that I hear that I love the most, well, there's a lot of them, but one of the things that I think is very overlooked is the part that making an outlet for everyone. It's not, the thing I love the most about your program is that it's not just for certain people, it is for the community. And that's how I think we grow. And neurologically, I can sit here and talk to you
it's all
forever
there.
about neurologically doing things. And I don't think folks ever took that approach. And I'm not going to say I'm naive enough to think that nobody's ever thought that. I'm just saying here in Louisiana, 6th generation New Orleanian, I was never on the other side of 50. Even I wasn't just so dialed into neurologically how we think, what happens, why we do what we do. Because of that.
Look, I'm talking as a medical doctor now. We're just a soup of chemicals in our brain. It's amazing that it functions. Okay, it's if it was a mechanical system, it would crash and burn. There's too many moving parts. There's too much funkiness in terms of neurotransmitters and how nerves fire and connect to each other, and the chemical soup in between. So, but kids aren't born bad, and the kids, none of them want to be criminals. None. So we have to look at the stress, which is measurable, and we have to do something to mitigate that stress, and that's the keys to moving forward. But
I always tell people, when you see a person down on their luck, an unhoused person at the lights, because there's a lot of them all over, everywhere you travel across the country. It's not just Louisiana, but you see people out there hey man, hey. I always tell folks, that person's goal in life was not to be there and asking.
Right.
You know, it's something that happened to them in their life. It's something that they didn't go right. But the parts that you guys are putting together is the complete package, the kids, the family, and the community. And that is what really I think is where, and then adding in how we understand like how the mind works and how the brain works and what happens. And that's why I love having you on here, because I can, me and Greg saying, hey man, look, you should think positive and we should try and do this neurologically. People just like, yeah. But when they hear someone who's a doctor who understands and knows it, it gives us some cred.
No, look,
you know what I mean?
It's like anything else you train your brain to do. Our brains, you know, when you get to my age, you don't have a lot of what's called neuroplasticity, but you know, you know, when you look at, if we were to study a pro golfer, you know, in their brain, we're going to see a lot more connections in the muscles that make the swing, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, so all this is well established, and it's the same with behavior and attitudes. And so, you know, the science is all there. We just need to use it, you know. But one question and we need to consider as New Orleanians a big we here. You know, we need to quit using the word they ought to do something about this. We need to turn it into we ought to do something about
We need
this.
to roll up our sleeves.
And you know, my question for New Orleans and all of us is, do we have to be broken to be who we are? And so far, the answer is yes.
We've taken on that identity.
Yeah, so it's absolutely it's yes. If you look at the market, how we ended up, and you know, we I think there's been a transition in terms of how we operate the city with our new mayor. And I'm not blaming any previous politicians, but we've been on a steady, you know, not the best direction.
You can blame them. It's okay.
Well,
I'm just saying, like, it's not good to point blame, but I'm just saying, like, it didn't just happen. Like, you know, people have neglected situations, and people have done some things that wasn't just conducive to. I felt as a New Orleanian, like the politicians have always sold us out.
Well,
you know, they from back in the days when Disney was here and all, like, you know, it's like, instead of thinking of the big picture of let's give them everything, you know, the whole story. But that's how it's been. And even I've learned that people will come down all along the Gulf Coast to come to New Orleans, like, and to just crap on us and then take off, and then the people are wanting stuff holding the bag, and the politicians will, like, you know, get over, like, and it's been down that way, you know. And but there is a need. What I'm wondering is, I'm not a big fan of politics. I call it politricks.
Yeah.
But what you guys have and what you guys have done over at Heroes, Greg, when I go over there and I see these kids and I see these guys growing and having an outlet and doing different things, like the podcast, the gaming room, the after school programs, and like, I always tell this to people, but I know you do a lot more than this, but it's just because it hits a bell for me, and I think it'll ring a bell for some other people, that because sometimes people think that these kind of programs aren't for them, or maybe they can't get in. But you guys, a person's house could burn down, and you don't even have to be in a program. They could come to Heroes, and you guys will point them in the right direction on who can help them. And that, I think that is what the most important part of it is sending that message to the community that we are here, and that's what you guys do all the time. Can you expand a little bit more on that, Greg? Like all the different things, like older people, aging folks.
Houses do burn down, and they do go to Heroes.
Yeah. I know you just recently had that to happen. But yeah, no, to your point, you know, and we're doing more in our messages to, you know, communicate, you know, the community center, so people can understand that it's not just for youth programming and for summer camp and things like that, but we do have those resources. But just getting back to the top of the conversation and just talking about, you know, what youth and families are going through for us, you know, different stress and things like that. So uncovering a lot of that stuff and understand the stress is you got to have the resources for that. right? So you got to have the resources. And so that's the other side of it. And I think that when we talk about engagement is commitment. That's what I hear, commitment. I'm committed to, doing this all the way through. And that's what our community needs. It needs commitment. And again, commitment can look in different ways. Like you said, not just funding. It can be time. It can be clothing. It can be resources. It can be, donations from your business, whatever that look like to fill that gap in resources to provide for our youth and families that are in need is very important. I always tell people all the time, I understand what it is to give help because I need help before, right? And when you need help, you don't want the process to be too hard. You don't want to have to go run around to different places. You need the help now. And so you just try to figure out, okay, well, what do we need to do to get these people taken care of? We just recently had a family, house to burn down in Algiers. And so, again, us amongst other organizations stepped in and say, look, this is what we can provide. We can take in clothing on your behalf and all these different things to make sure, they have what they need. If you need a place for it to receive donations, we allocated our facilities to that. We contact our partners who we know to reach out to the families. So, but that's what community looks like. It looks like, it comes together, when people are in need.
I saw a big event on the internet that was over there. Can you explain to me what it was? Like, I think these guys came in town just recently. It may have been something that was later before done, but it was just on the internet just recently on Heroes. They were bringing a bunch of kids there. You guys had a line out the door.
Yeah, and so we partnered. We did a couple of big events. One event we partnered up with TCA, and we to provide light bill assistance to over 800 residents to get their light bill.
Wow! So wait a minute, you guys helped 800 people with their electricity,
Yeah, they just came in and everybody light bill got paid to zero until all the money was just gone.
I mean. You model, both of you guys are a model of good vibes. And that's one of the main reasons why I had this to spotlight this, on all the heavy lifting parts of it, not just a little baby piece of it. But I mean, that's not a small thing to do. And I mean, those people are never going to forget that.
Oh yeah. No,
you know what I mean? It's a very big.
That's a big part. What it's a part I'm not directly involved with, but because I'm there teaching kids nerdy stuff, But Heroes has a reputation of of being efficient and a straight shooter. So when some big outside organization has something to donate, they know in Algiers to call Heroes. So using the facility as a conduit. A no overhead conduit, right? I mean, it's not like, Greg, it's not like, they get a fee for what goes through. As a very efficient conduit to get those resources distributed, it's another big, is part of having a nice, well-run and very comfortable place there.
So, Greg, I asked Laney this question. I'm going to ask you the same question. What was your vision? And I think I know not so much a vision. I think I know how you started it with just really grassroots. But what was your vision? The 3-minute elevator speed thing about how you brought Heroes into fruition and what was inside of you. I paid for years for these domain names and didn't do anything. What made you say, you know what, we're going to do this?
I think one of the biggest things for me is coming from it. So I was born and raised in the Fisher Project. And so I know what it feels like, again, to be the person who need and want those things that, we had the opportunity to create for youth. I didn't have the latest game coming out. I didn't have a place where I can go and play basketball and get a hot meal and just all these different things. But also, as I survey my community, I don't see it either. And so I can either complain about it and, just keep on going to people saying we don't have this and have that and hold a bunch of town hall meetings. Or you could just spring into action and start, putting in place the things that you want to see. So for me, it wasn't hard. It wasn't a hard decision. I already, had to feel it in me. I already know what it feel like to have. And then I also was working with those kids in my community. And again, as I survey my community and I see there's nothing to do. Literally, there's nothing to do. Even when my son was younger, he's 13 now. I would bring him to the playground. And by the time he made 5, he was too old for the playground. And then there was nothing else. There was nowhere else to go, especially not for free. So, when you look at a community like that and you start thinking about, the playground with no kids and, all the drug dealers in different places like that then took over the playground areas and, what that's going to look like, you trying to run them off, you're not a cop. And so again, just thinking about all those things and say, okay, well, what our community would be like if our kid had an option to do this or do that, because right now they don't, and I know they don't. Right. And so, how did my life turn out when I didn't have options? Right. How did my life turn out? If I was in survival mode the whole time. Right. How did I get directions without nobody guiding me? So like just all those questions that you ask yourself as a young man, I just kind of had an out of body experience and just kind of talk to myself and be like, OK, well, what can you do to make sure, nobody else experience these things? And again, I have this conversation. I talked to my friend a while back about this. I say, I think a lot of times, my nickname Milky, he knows this already.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of times, when it comes to, either my son, kids in the program, people always say, oh, no, you just taking care of Milky, right?
Yeah.
You letting him slide. You let Milky slide with this one, right? Because, you're thinking about the younger self. Now you need to be a little tougher on this kid. So, with that being said, I know I think about myself a lot of time in those situations, not having what I need, growing up in a single parent home. And so again, it's for me, this is easy, man. This is awesome for me to do. It's a blessing.
So how many years have Heroes been around?
So man, this is going to be our
12.
Yep. So 2012 we started. We got our actual 501c3 status in 2016. But from 2012 up until then, we was taking money and doing community events,
And did you start off before you went to the 501c, like just barbecue grills? I heard, and just like said, okay, we're gonna.
I can tell you a story on him.
Okay, please, I'm ready for this one, Laney.
His first event had one person attend. And then later I found out it was the person in charge of the venue.
He was trying to get the numbers up so he can come back.
So that's what I was going to tell you when you was like, if somebody wanted to start an organization, I was going to say, hold on, now wait. Go volunteer at one first.
But that didn't stop him, That didn't stop him.
So Laney, mentorship. I got a feeling that you mentor these kids, and look, Mr. Vibes, ladies and gentlemen. Laney, this Mr. Vibe was created, Laney, correct me if I'm wrong, at Heroes, right? Or was it over at another place?
It was in one of the printers that we have at Heroes. Yeah.
Yes.
I forget.
So,
yeah.
And there's so many different things that you can do. I mean, I'm interested from me. This is why I'm asking about the mentorship, because I'm I hate to say this, but I'm embracing my blessing. So I'm gonna be 59 years old in March.
Wow, that's well over half a century.
Yeah. Thanks, lady. I feel younger already.
Yeah.
No, but I really want to do some mentorship. And I just want to see how it looks, and how can you get like you're not, you toe in, and if you want to like put your leg in, if you just want to cannonball all the
absolutely.
way in.
Yeah. So we offer this thing called Spend a Day. And at the Spend a Day is an opportunity for parents. We just brought in a new cohort, and all their parents came in. It's an opportunity for parents to get a tour of the building. Also, we have this thing called Spend a Day where they can come in and do the thing that the kids do, the 3D print, learn about 3D printing, culinary stuff, just everything a kid would do in their normal days. And so that's a good opportunity for you to kind of get a feel for what kids doing, and then kind of, tour the program while the kids are there, just to kind of slowly work your way in. So it's not like, hey, I don't know what I would just do with him, just sit there and talk with him. And it's like, no, if you're into cooking and you want to do the culinary report with him,
Isn't the culinary relatively new?
Huh?
Or
yes
really?
and no. So
Okay.
no, because we've been doing culinary things. Yes, because we just got the equipment
Facility.
To do it right.
Do it right.
Yeah, I knew that there was some of that going on too.
Yeah.
You guys, when I was there, one of the last times, there was like, I think dryers, washers, and all kinds of stuff amazing things that you had. You had the garden. Yeah, like it's really, I don't mean to be repetitive, but I want to be repetitive on these things because I want to drive home the fact that it is a community. Because sometimes people are like, well, I don't know if it's just for kids or whatever, but it's not. It's so many more things than just for kids,
Oh yeah.
But like for me, I'm gonna come on and do one of those days because I like to talk, but but I feel like I can help kids. I can help kids out, man. Like I can say, hey, man, look, they kids see me, and things have changed a lot now. Like when I used to talk to at-risk youth, one of my go-to things were, I didn't know my dad until I was 18. And they're like, wait a minute, like this guy's a whistle monster. He's like, he's always happy and he has this stuff. And they're like, wow, you didn't have a dad too? And I would relate. But these days, kids are like, well, I don't have a mom. I don't have my dad is in jail and my grandmother don't really care. Like I don't really know what to say to the kids. Like, cause I can't. And what you were saying, when you put yourself in their place, that's the epitome of having empathy, humility, and compassion. That's one of the big 6 things, the first 3 things actually. When we put ourselves in other people's places, we have empathy for them, we have compassion for them, and humility for them. So that's the best way, in my opinion, Greg, is to put yourself in their place to come from that angle.
What I see here's Laney's thoughts on mentoring and role models. I think it's, people talk about it like it's some formal process. It really isn't, and it shouldn't be. It's just an exchange. It's 2 human beings having an exchange, and all the time, and it's based on you learn about a new skill or trait or ability or something somebody has, and you want it. Okay, so it's just that simple. They can do that. I'd like to be able to do that. Okay, and we're not talking about whistling like a rock star or being the ultimate ball player. We talk because the kids, all of us included, we're a product of what we've seen and what we understand and where we can learn about something if it appeals to us. And so these kids are the same. I've been able to establish good relationships with the kids. It's about being reliable, being trustworthy. So do what you say what you do, because they have so many inconsistencies in their world related to trust. We like to have a little vibe around Heroes where they can trust everybody there. And, I get accepted because the whole staff, we all accept each other and trust each other. And,
you put your time up, and those kids know you by your first name, and they trust you. They they can be open with you and like, I feel like this, or most kids are like, they would know. But another part of that is, what's the level on the mentorship? Because I need a mentor. I'm just saying. I mean, you guys.
But you got me,
know.
Man. Start first and foremost.
Yeah, I called Greg already. He knows a lot of stuff. Laney, I need a mentor, man. I need you to mentor me, buddy.
Well, Greg, he says I've mentored him.
I was about to say, man.
See, we share you, bro. Right?
We have a.
That's why you've been giving me the good stuff. You've been getting it from Laney.
But some of the kids are mentors. It's an exchange.
Oh wow, really?
Well,
that's good to the other kids, the younger kids, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah. The best.
Why not?
The best connection, and so it's about again. It's about culture, establishing a culture around Heroes, and because cultures are powerful, it's what rules the world, and in negative and positive ways, and it can go either way. I mean, because a culture has to do with a tribe. A tribe is a people together for a purpose, and
wow.
And we really have to have a tribe New Orleans to get where we
tribe
go.
New Orleans. I like that, Laney. I'm gonna write that one down too.
Because look, we all in virtual tribes all the time. Okay, we in this group because we do that. That group because we do that. But
virtual tribes. I love that.
Yeah,
too.
They pop up all the time. I'm going hang out with this crowd or that crowd or this other crowd, and but. When we look at our life and our work and our future, we need a tribe New Orleans because, the unfortunate reality is we've been losing people, and that's got some inertia, and that means less people in restaurants and professional services and things. There's a negative side, a little cratering that can happen when a decline curve. And I know it's very important to our mayor to turn around the population loss as soon as possible. And so, we have to look at the things we can't fight, like the insurance market and big things, and look at the things we can. And I really, I'm really glad she's like shrinking city government a little bit, because it's quite burdensome. Wouldn't it be nice if like people had their property taxes reduced because the city shrunk the
Did
government?
you just read my mind?
Well, no. Buddha told me.
I was just thinking that same exact. I think I telepathically said that to you.
Well managed. This city, well managed. Okay. It could shrink a couple $100 million and do more stuff, because we were doing, there was a lot of machinations going on, not much output, and I think she's I know what I do know is her deputy mayors have real authority. They're not hired for political cover. They're hired to actually do stuff. And she's told them, look, I need you guys hired the best. I need you guys to do your stuff. So,
awesome.
I think, we're going to see, we've seen some things quickly. And I think, I know the right things are happening.
Okay, so that makes me feel real good. And we have 3 rules here. Like, we don't talk about negativity, we don't talk about politics, and we don't talk about religion. But a new mayor, there's a lot of positive things that we can talk about with that, whether if it was Helene or whoever. But I felt like I'm from Missouri when it comes to New Orleans politicians. You're going to have to show me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, Sugar Ray, he was a good guy. He was out there at Cox and in the Brass, and the next thing like what happened? Like it always happens. And like we have the, I'm not here to point out all the negative things, but I'm hearing these from you, a person who I trust, and Greg. You guys, I've seen you have already met with the mayor a couple of times, and you feel good about it. So it makes me feel good about it, and especially if it's doing all the right things. But I do believe one of the biggest things that we have here to circle and put a star, if we could, on with the mayor, and you guys are doing it already with Heroes. Heroes is really, I mean, how many years we said it was? It was like 12 years or 15 years or something like that. But did you see any of your kids already that are graduate? I guess, do they graduate from it, and then they go out and you're starting to see some of the rewards from your from the work that you're doing, right? And so I would like to see if we can get some copycat programs with the city, kind of like going around saying, let's look at what's working, right? And let's see what's going on, and give them some light, and give some things like, businesses that are doing things for the community. Some like I would like to see focus on the community with the actions of the people who are doing things with kids, because the kids are what we need. I mean, I'm going to be 60, dude. I mean, like,
it's too late for you.
Yeah, I could be a mentor, maybe.
Yeah, but I think again, it's always going to go back to that word commitment, and depending on what age group that your program is servicing, and what level of commitment can a city, state, national, like what level of commitment they can provide. And so, programs can produce resources, but if I have a 5-year-old with a 3-year commitment, and I want to follow him, through high school, that's not very likely, right? Because the impact gonna change because the resources have changed. And so I think again, it just got to be an organized approach. Where we working, all together to get the same outcomes, that we pretty much all agreed on. That's gonna make our city a better place. But again, it's not just on the mayor or anybody else. All of us have a role to play, in all the areas of the city. I think a lot of time we sit on the sideline, like we did at home and watch the game and be like, oh, he dropped that pass, I would have caught it. But nobody's coming at you full speed,
right,
trying to tackle you either. So
that's a good valid point.
The mayor and Dr. Avegno, who's the deputy mayor, who is basically over the city youth programs of all types. They're both outcomes oriented, and the whole issue is who is measuring outcomes, and it's kind of a shame that with all the data and dashboards we have on everything else we do in the world, every time we order something online, there's all this data trail behind it. It's a shame that we don't have it on outputs of our youth programs. And just because it's challenging, then is no excuse. It's something we have to do. And I've studied actually while I'm traveling, asking questions. There are a lot of other places out in the world that have a diverse population and a lot more diverse than ours, for example, and they don't really have significant poverty. And they just they
What do you think that's why? What do you think that's from? Because
I've asked a lot of questions. A good place to go is like in the Netherlands, Amsterdam. I have my wife has relatives that live there, young smart people too, and on a trip there, I see, because you'll see people from, 80, 90 countries in Amsterdam. It's quite an international city. It's London's an international city, but it's bigger. But, you just don't see much poverty. You don't see much crime or poverty. And they just address it. They just don't have, they apply resources where they work and not politically, just throwing them out there for everybody. So they're not drunk on politics, so to speak. They just pragmatic.
So like in business, some copycat situations are, and I always look at it's not even there anymore, but Blockbuster. It's just this thing just remembers. So it was something that came from another place. On a business scale, like you go and look at something that somebody's doing somewhere else that's really working, and you bring it over to a place that doesn't have it, and it seems successful. What is keeping New Orleans from doing a copycat program like in the Netherlands or whatever they're doing, and implementing it because we know it works, or and are saying people coming in other places and coming to you say, hey, Greg, we want to do a copycat program of heroes in California. Is there a way, like when we do with music, we have like these little portals. We're like, okay, we're going to let these guys come and play for you there, and we're going to break your music and expose it. Can we get like that with New Orleans and other things? Like what's kind of stopping that? You think that
what would it take?
Yeah,
we need an operating system change, okay, with our youth, and how, like let's say Elon Musk or Zuckerberg, they want to change the color of the opening page. They can change the whole system right away, okay, because they have that leverage. So it's a matter of developing a toolkit where we create a market for outcomes that are scientifically proven and measured. Right now, there's no efficient market for outcomes in the youth space. Okay, resources flow to, like whoever has the best looking people at the fundraiser, or politically are spread out. So society's got to get this straight. And if there's no will to do it, we're just not going to change. So what I would hope to do, if we can start measuring outcomes and have neuroscience people, and it's a big bridge of trust that has to happen for university people to connect to a nonprofit. We were able to do that with neuroscience and Professor Beaton and Heroes. And that can be done with our other universities that have an interest. And imagine if we start collecting consistent data across different organizations with different ages, and that can be treated as one data set for consistency. And so then I believe we could get the attention of big private foundations. There's some big national and international private foundations that have basically unlimited resources, billions that they have to give away for tax reasons. Many of them have been looking for outcomes, especially one called Arnold Ventures. They're looking for proof of efficacy. And proof can't be, it's 10% better. Proof has to be something that's based on peer-reviewed science published by the universities in either math, statistical, or neuroscience journals is where our future is. And I don't know why New Orleans couldn't be a center of excellence in this space. We have the need to get there, to do it. And
can we start pushing? Can we be like some of the foundation? I mean, like it sounds like I know that you have the map, and and just being able to say where, I don't want to say where the bodies are buried, but where people are doing this and where it works, and start the science and start because if we got a new mayor,
Yeah.
right, and we got this brand new page we're starting off,
Oh yeah,
right?
no, she knows. She knows. I think if we give her some meat there to work with, I think she can approach. She can get the attention of the private foundations that we can't get on our own, and I think she intends to do that. But imagine if we had graduate degrees where people were getting masters and doctorates and would be specialists in this. And then we'd get outcomes here. Those people are going to be the highest paid, talking about some in demand people, is who because we need this all over the United States.
That's exactly correct.
But we have some challenge, why does the United States have this problem,
Right. It's a bigger thing than just New Orleans,
yeah.
But that's one of the things I was thinking. Maybe we could, we're leaders. You're a leader with NOLA Motorsports Park. That was never there before. You're a leader with, people have done some things, but I don't know anybody like Heroes, honestly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And Greg, there's no secrets. Greg will gladly tell everybody how to do it,
Yeah, that's it. I'm down with that. Hey, look, I'm Craig. Greg, I'm gonna be down with you on whatever you guys do, because I believe in the action, right? Because maybe I talked to you this before. I told you guys this, but there was a saying that really, really spoke to me. Sometimes it was you can have all the education, you can have all the knowledge in the world, but life does not reward education and knowledge. Life rewards action.
Oh yeah, no,
and that's a powerful thing, man.
Yeah.
And that's our 58th show here today.
Yeah.
I finally took an action.
Yeah.
Here I am. I could still be going around paying these domain name rights and have this really great idea and doing this. So
I've met some people. I've met some young professionals here in New Orleans, and by young, people in their 30s. And there's one guy in particular. He went to school, went to law school, and he's just so disaffected about. And we need to totally get rid of the notion that you get this degree and that degree, and then something happens. That's just not the way it is. You have to you can make your luck. It's good to be lucky, and here's how you make your luck. And the first thing you do is show up.
Yeah.
And
be consistent.
So, and that's something that I don't. Basically, I'm retired, right? But I don't think that I could do nothing. I would have to work so hard to do nothing that I would just be ridiculously tired, I tell people, don't give me an easy problem, because I'll just probably mess it up. I
got to make it uncomfortable. We were speaking about that before the show. Being uncomfortable is growth.
The hard problems are the ones for me, and I'll figure it out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you heard that, huh?
Yeah.
Laney said,
no, that's true.
Bring those problems over here, Mr. Rubik Cubes. So I got to tell you guys, man, time flies when you're having fun.
Oh, yeah.
If there's anything that you guys want to say, we want to expound on a bit, we got we have much time as we want, but we want to put a bow on it and kind of get a message to people if we want, or just say, how people can help Heroes, how people can come and help NOLA Motorsports. What's the vision for, for you guys as far as, you're here now. You're in full sleeves rolled up, making things happen. You got the throttle and swing now. You got this. You have all this, these new things coming up. What can people do if they've just inspired and they want to, and I'll let each one of you expound on it, what you would like to see people doing for NOLA Motorsports Park as far as to help bring it out and help people, get exposure to it. And then the same thing with you, with Greg.
Well, to talk thanks for being Mr. Positive. And as far as the city, my concerns, my passion here is for the city to fulfill its potential, and which is magical. And it's about being engaged. Don't get on a committee. A committee's designed not to do nothing. Get on a team, and with people without egos who just want to get something done. And engagement with nonprofits, there, a committee would discuss, well, let's do this for the youth and that for the youth. An engaged group, they don't have that discussion because they just know. They know emotionally and not intellectually, and that's the difference of engagement. So that's it. That's my
Team New Orleans.
Team New Orleans. Either we want it or we don't, and it's up to us.
I think it's, I'm going to get to Greg, but on that note there, I was very hesitant to say this because I'm not going to ever be in politics. I'm just not.
Oh, no.
But the thing is,
none of us.
It's going to take folks like us, I feel. This guy who's really been pushing me, telling me, like, man, you talk to people, you so well, people listen to you. You really should do this. And I was like, man, I would never want to be in politics ever because it's 50% of the people that's going to hate you.
Too many compromises.
50% of the people going to like love you, but you're never going to ever have that, like where but I think it's going to have to take some people like us doing some things to make some change. And we don't necessarily have to be called politicians. We can be facilitators, right? And we facilitate the idea of the city, the community being the best that it can be, because we know some of the things that we've seen that didn't work. We really got a handle on those, but we also have some things that does work and they don't get as much news, I guess, like in the news, like negative. If it doesn't bleed, it doesn't lead. You know what I mean? So when you have positive news and things like that, that's why I want to have neural doctors on and people who are going to tell you folks, look, this is what's happening to your thought process when you think, and this is how you go ahead and get things done this way, like explaining it to them rather than just saying like, oh, well, it's a hope, but taking an action on how we can do it. And I think it's going to take people like you, people like myself, who really don't necessarily, you're going to say, and two things when I say I don't really like to be in the public eye and people go, dude, you wear a whistle on your head. And I'm like, man, I'm really like kind of shy. They're like, yeah, and 60,000 people, you're really shy with the whistle. You just hide. But I am, man. And then those two things can exist. You know what I mean? Like, so Greg, I know you're laughing, but it's the truth, man. I feel like I'm going to have to get out of my comfort zone to make the things that we're talking about happen. And a lot of people, not just us three, but a lot of people who I feel like want what we're talking about and want New Orleans. I don't think of one person who don't want New Orleans to be its best if you're a New Orleanian and you live here. Yeah. Because it's literally like a girlfriend or a boyfriend and you fall in love with this place. I have so many people who just absolutely come here and they just cannot get it out of them. They back, they move. And there is some people, and I have to say this. I'm going to be doing a show soon on I've been meeting so many people who moved here, which is crazy to me. Yeah. Because
they love it or run away scared after a week,
Right. But a lot of them to just pack, get your bags and come and live here is just
one thing. There's one thing I just want to point out. We're very social and so we have a lot of social interactions and we say a lot and we don't do as much, So our ratio of talk to action is pretty high, pretty big ratio there. That's all. I just want to point that out.
But they always say talk is cheap too.
Very cheap and free, actually free. But the last thought I want to leave, for a place that loves food. Basically, every day we cook a meal, and it's the soup of neurotransmitters in our brain, and just be careful what you put in it. That's
what I tell people. It's like gas. You gotta put the good stuff in.
In terms of internal and external components.
I love that.
So, because that's what makes the meal, and that's your because it's an amazing.
I think there's and Heroes does that a lot. Like you come from that approach where you guys are going to be having people understand neurologically what's happening to them rather than just you're a bad person or you're a good person, and like and help them. Prepare them with like weapons, not so, weapons of negative undertone. I'm a Dale Carnegie.
Tools.
I'm a Dale Carnegie graduate, so I should know better than to use a negative undertone.
Yeah.
But that's prepare them with tools.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're gonna go and prune a rose bush, you need the right tools.
Yeah.
You don't just say, "Hey, man, go break it with your hand." You know. But
if we have an emotional toolkit to handle all the situations we run into, we're good.
Emotional toolkit. Greg, you can expound on that as well.
Yeah, I think that's the frustration with a lot of kids. You know, just running into different situations and not having the right tools to deal with them will ultimately sometimes just lead to frustration, rebellions, and negative reactions. I mean, that's just the reality of some of the things that they're dealing with, some of the things that I deal with, right? But I did want to say, if I had to leave one word or a few words, it would be definitely not to give up on New Orleans, not to give up on our youth. I know sometimes, when we watch the news, got a lot of bad things going on, a lot of kids getting involved in some things, but a lot of positive things happen, a lot of things, great things happen with our kids. We try to highlight some of our kids' success as much as possible on our end, and we encourage other organizations to do the same because sometimes we can get lost in the negativity as well. And so, you say how people get involved. There's a lot of different ways people get involved, but first, I don't want them to give up. Because sometimes you can, think that, with all this going on, can I really help? Is my, hour, 45 minutes going to make a difference? Is this jacket, going to help out? And I'm giving it to them. All that stuff help. Everything help. Everything is important. Everything is impactful. So I just definitely want everybody to understand that, everything you have to offer can make a difference in somebody's life because the very thing you holding on to is the very thing that they're missing.
Yep. And we have a lot of ants. Right. So ants is automatic negative thoughts. And we just do. Mm-hmm. And Laney, you can speak on this. It's a part of our body that's protects us, right? That fear part. Like if you're going to walk up, like I'm going to get lower neurological and I might butcher the first one, but the frontal lobe there is a hippocampus,
Well, yeah, that's a little farther down.
Oh, is it the hippocampus?
The prefrontal cortex. You have the amygdala, nucleus accumbens.
Okay, yeah. So the one that has the pineal gland on top of it.
Oh, pineal gland. Yeah.
Yeah, pineal gland. Pineal, tomato.
Yeah.
But that one, that is a real crystal that's in there, right? And that's where that's where we have the feelings of you walking down the street and it's nighttime and you just feel like,
look,
and so that fear kind of keeps us away from a lot of things.
Well, we have survival built into us. Okay,
survival. And that's what I was getting at.
Because we have to, we got to make ourselves breathe. How many times did you think to breathe today? Right. If we had to remember to breathe, we'd all die. Okay,
yeah.
So we have a lot built in, and it's a matter of having it managed. So we have the primitive parts of the brain, the executive part of the brain, which is the part that's talking right now with judgment, and that comes with experience and a toolkit. Dealing with a toolkit because
emotional toolkit.
When you hear about, just the crazy things people do, like on airplanes, getting in fight. Just ban all the alcohol in airplanes, or do we have to put a brig in airplanes? And then kids, road rage, okay? And sometimes kids not having a toolkit in one instance change multiple lives.
Yes, absolutely.
For a long time, permanently.
One
too.
dead, one in jail. Yes. How many paralyzed? This is just horrible outcome, which is something that's very easily manageable. And we just got to take this knowledge and take some action.
Utilize it. So, Greg, what you said something that really sparked something in me that I wanted to kind of put the reason it kind of is what this program, this Only Good Vibes News Network is built on, right? And it's built on understanding the information that we get and what we put in and how important it is. Like you were saying, I thought of this because I looked at Louisiana, and I'm going to use a high number. This is not this high. Mm-hmm. But in Louisiana, let's just say 20% of the people are actually doing pretty much all the crimes. And the crimes are all the same ones being overworked. Robbery, stealing, murder, like all this stuff, right? 20%. And the news reports on that 20%, 50, probably 60 upwards, right? So all our subconscious thought process is, oh my God, don't go on Bourbon Street because a guy ran over people. Like that's the things that stick. So what I thought of with this program, I was like, you know what? Using that number, I'm going to report on the 80% of people because there are a lot of good people doing good things, like you said, but we just don't focus on those. You know, we focus on all the bad things. The one kid that did this and this, but there's a lot of good kids graduating and doing things and in the programs. And we just need to focus more on those things. And that's the main reason why you two guys, and this is going to bring this whole thing full circle, are sitting in his seats talking to me right now because you are the guys that are doing good things. And not only doing good things, but first person to ever be on this show and our first sponsor. Like that is very special to me. And I don't ever ignore that and look at it because that's what we made here, us, you know, by doing that and by putting ourselves up and our time, which is the most important thing that we have, out there. Because I mean, if you don't have any money, you can't do this, you can always have your time. That's your valuable thing. Like your money in the bank is your time. And if you can put that time into something, mentoringship, going to go and bring kids and do things and put things out for people to enjoy, like you guys have done in the community, staples in the community, constantly having like the Race for Cure and all these different things that you're doing. That's, I think, where it's at, you know, along with us just saying, you know, we are going to run. If Elena doesn't do a great job, we are going to make Laney the mayor. We're gonna put Laney up, and he's gonna run for mayor, and you're gonna win, Laney. I'm telling you, you heard it right here, Elena. We want you to do a great job. Keep asking Laney what he can do to help because he knows some of them. And Greg, I saw him over at your place. I know that y'all are already in there rolling up your sleeves, making a roux to see what we can cook, and that's an important thing because they need to have people who are actually hands on the ground and they're mixing it up, the dirt in their fingernails and understanding rather than just.
And that's what I was going to say, you know, definitely is important that, you know, you understand, you know, I ain't going to say the problem, the situation at hand. You know, I always commend him on that, you know, coming in, you know, to the program, learn the ins and outs of the program, had an opportunity to meet with the kids. And, you know, more importantly, you know, when he said, you want to come over? Yeah, absolutely. Come over, man. Spend some time. Come check it out. Come hang out because that's important. And so you can form your own opinion. You can form your own ideas of, you know, what can change and not just, you know, from the outside looking in saying, you know, these kids should have jobs and not knowing their education level. Kids should have this and not knowing that they're missing that. So, again, you know, the understanding of it is real, real important.
I am, and I'm going to look right into camera one. I am definitely coming to Heroes, kids. Get ready. I want to hang out, and I'm going to end up being a mentor and somehow.
We got this
that's okay
saying,
with you
man.
guys because you guys have motivated me and inspired me and supported me, and I feel like I supported you, but I think I need to take my support for both of you guys even higher. And in any way that I can help, in any shape and way I can help, I'm here.
Look,
utilize me.
Recently, a friend, Marcus Brown, who's an artist who,
I know Marcus.
You know, makes a living, teaches at NOCO. He and I have become buddies over 3D printing, and he's really, really cool artist. You know,
He makes the sound things right. Like,
yes.
You ever seen those? Do they have Jamnola?
Yeah, he's done that. So I bring him over to Heroes, and he said, wow. And so he's going to bring some equipment where he can do some casting, metal casting on the site to Heroes.
All right.
So it's just a matter of
Keep me posted.
You know, it's making our Team New Orleans of people who can show things to the kids.
I'm joining Team New Orleans, bro.
We got our saying. We always say, let's do it, man. So
So look,
that's it.
I mean, I have to say this. I have to say thank you to NOLA Motorsports Park, one of our sponsors, one of our first sponsors. Also, we have Trenas Restaurants, one of our sponsors.
Yeah.
We also have Frenchie Live, Frenchie live now.
cool.
And Frenchie is now, he told me to tell you hello.
I need to go see him.
Yeah, he's a sponsor. And also Miggy, who's Scandalous Chalk, is a guy way out in New York. You know, so since we came podcast, we're taking sponsors everywhere. You know, and but the thing is, it's really working. I can't say thank you to you guys enough because all those guys made this possible for us to live and to be able to have a place where people can come 1 hour in 29 minutes to to talk positive, no negative, and no politics and just no negativity, no politics, and no religion. But I leave with these things all the time, with the big 6 things that people can do. That's okay. And the first 3 things is have empathy, humility, and compassion for yourselves first. Because if you don't have it for yourself first, you can't hand it out to anybody.
That's giant.
Right? You know, because if we want to have humility and compassion for those people. So highly motivated people like us, we don't always have that. We're always thinking about a lot of times the mission that we're on, and we may get to here, but we don't have enough, in my opinion, this is only my thoughts, enough humility and compassion and empathy for ourselves to look back here where we started and feel good, rather than keep looking up there and going, man, I can't celebrate now. I got still more work to do. But you got to have empathy, humility, and compassion for yourselves. That's the first 3 things, are the big 6 things that you can do. That's okay. And the next one is always help people. Because if you always help people, helping people is going to be an inside job. If we're here right now, we walk out and some person's car is broken down and, say it's a little old lady, a little guy, whatever, and they can't change the tire. So we get together, we help them change the tire, and we see them drive off. We feel great because, man, we just helped somebody who's really struggling. And then that person in a car is like, oh, angels, right? So helping people. That's the 4th one. The 5th one is be better every day. Because you know why? I don't think anybody knows one human on this earth that's perfect. You're gonna be late. You're gonna miss an email. You're gonna miss an appointment. You're just gonna screw up sometimes. We just imperfect. That's just how it works. But here's the cool part about it: turn the page, start over the next day. It's okay. You can do better. And then the last one is one of my favorite ones. It's leave the world better, leave the world a better place than you found it. Now, how do you do that? You can do it with air, with water, and with food. That's like the knee-jerk things. But what I touched on earlier, it's waking up today, all 3 of us, meeting someone, whether it's in a post office, the gas line, the shopping center, whatever, have a good encounter, a good conversation, or just a good thought, or just a laugh, or whatever, with someone that you had not met in your entire life that day, and then have a good encounter, go away, do that 3 or 4 times each. Isn't that leaving the world better than you found it?
Oh, yeah.
So the big 6 of those things. And I always say this, we always say it at the end of the show. So the world is full of good people. If you don't see one, be one. You know what I mean? And if you want to like, share, and subscribe to Only Good Vibes News Network. Thank you for your time, Laney. Thank you for your time, Greg. Thank you for your contributions to New Orleans. And we are definitely heading in the right direction with folks like you. And I just want to tell you personally, I've had 1,000 tongues. Thank you for what you guys are doing, and keep up the good fight. And any way I can help you guys, just let me know.
Yeah.
Who that?
Walking